Dude, this is sweet. I did all of this in literally 5 minutes. I did an area about maybe 2 to 3 times larger than this in about 3 days. So this is just awesome. Oh man. Hey everybody, it's Ryan. Welcome back to How Farms Work. So today I'm going to be driving the JCB over to the farm. I'm going to be picking up the brush mower, which is over there because we've been working on it. And I am going to be brush mowing around the outsides of the fields. So the pasture out here is on my hit list for the summer. But before we start planting, I really wanted to go around the field edges with the brush mower to kind of push the trees back, push the brush back, and just kind of open up the field more, because I'm not going to have much chance to get out there and hit it during the summer months when the crops are out there. So now is a really good time to start pushing back the brush lines along the fields. So we actually did some work to the brush mower. We tore it apart because I had it out here after using it one day, and I had it pointed down so the blades were facing the cab. I set it down on the ground, and I just happened to walk by it, and the thought just crossed my mind. I'm like, what if these bolts underneath are loose? I put my hands on them, and I turned all but 2 or 3 of them, so half of them were literally like not even hand tight. They were just sitting in there. So I took it over to the farm, and we felt the blade holder underneath. It looks like a big fidget spinner. I call it the spinning wheel of death. The fidget spinner of death also works. And we felt a huge wobble in that blade holder. So we took it apart, and we found that the lower seal was out, and the bolts that held on the blade holder were pretty much ruined. So we got all new parts. We got new seals, new bearings in that planetary below the hydraulic motor. So now everything is pretty tight. We got new blades. We cut out the old ones and welded in new ones. And yeah, so that's pretty much good to go. I mean, it's basically a new mower now. It was actually vibrating so bad that the top side of the blade holder was scratching the frame of the mower. So you can see the dents pushed up around the inside of the mower. So now everything's tight. There's not a wobble in it. It runs really well. And I took it for a test run the other day, and it launched a piece of wood pretty far away from the skid mower. So I've been reading over the manual on how to brush mow, and typically you're supposed to run the front lower than the back so that the mulch that you have will not clog up the mower. And I think the reason they have you point it down a little bit is so that when the blades come around and they knock out brush, it sends it into the ground instead of across the field like I was experiencing there after we did the work on it. So I'm gonna head over to the farm, pick up the brush mower, and finish going around the field. I just did along the road, about halfway along it. I'm not gonna get too crazy. I just kind of want to push everything back. There's specific areas that I want to hit. After I'm done at Rockville, I do want to go down to Travis's place. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do that today though. And hopefully once we're done planting, I can go out into the pasture out here and start hitting that. But for now, I just want to go around the fields, get everything done so that I don't have to worry about pushing anything back. It's not that it needs to get done, it's just that I really want to, and I've been planning to do it for about a year now. So we got the mower put back in just in time. So let's head over to the farm. We got the brush mower hooked up now. Now the brush mower's got 3 hookups. So we've got our 2 normal hoses right here, but we also have the 3rd one, which is the K-Strain. And the K-Strain will take any of the excess oil in the motor and send it back to the machine. So since this motor takes such high pressure, not having a K-Strain on there will result in blown seals. So it's always very important that you hook that up as well. The K-Strain goes right here. And the JCB has 2 places to hook up the hoses. 2 up here are for high flow, which this mower does use high flow. However, I found that I don't necessarily have to, because it creates destruction no matter which way I do it. However, the ones over on the side are not high flow, but those are the ones that have the telescoping ability with the rest of the arm on the teleskid. So if I'm doing a lot of mowing and reaching out, which I'm typically not, but I can, it's an option, I could put it on there and have a little bit more reach with the hoses. I found that if I do want to extend it out, I have enough hose length to extend out a fair amount anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead, hook it up to the high flow ones and get her started. As you can see, I left quite a bit of brush on top from when I tested it out. I'm gonna go back to where I left off the other night. Now, when I'm running this mower, I usually have the smooth ride system up there enabled, and what that does is it basically creates a cushion through the hydraulics. So as I'm running along, the boom will sway up and down, so that way it makes the ride a lot easier and it gives the boom room to play. I'm trying to figure out where I left off. So as I'm running along, you'll see the boom will go up and down a lot more than it normally would. I usually leave that engaged because with this mower, it's actually pretty freaking heavy. I want to say in the manual that this one was over 3,000 pounds. And the lifting capacity on this mower, or on this unit, the JCB Teleskid, is 3,650. So the Teleskid is definitely a good match for this mower. In the mower's operator's manual, they actually very specifically say that they recommend a tracked unit because of the increased stability. So to start up the mower, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the hydraulics, turn on the high flow, turn the hydraulics back on, and then the continuous flow button down here is on the left joystick. By pressing this, we'll engage the hydraulic flow. The mower's going to start. Got to wait for it to spool up. And I can go ahead and increase speed. I just finished that first fence line along the road. I didn't get every single little bush out there because a lot of them are growing out of tree stumps that we cut off a few years ago, and a lot of those are intertwined with the fence that is still there that was probably state of like 1930. So to avoid taking out any stakes and launching them towards the road, I erred on the side of caution. But down at Travis's place, I'm definitely going to get a little bit more aggressive. I'm going to do a quick lap around the field out here. There's one fence line over by the buildings yet that is pretty bad for trees, and I want to do as much as I can to push that back yet. I don't think I've hit that fence line at all with this. So, moving on to the next one. Why is it raining wood chips? Oh, that's probably why. be very wary of the mower when it's still moving like that. I don't like to go up front, but fence line's over there. I'd say we're making a difference here. So those were the bolts that were coming loose on me. I heard a rattling when I was shutting it down. Just wanted to make sure that everything's still staying tight, and I reached over and felt the blade holder, or the fidget spinner of death, and there's literally no wobble in it, so I think we're good. Yikes, that sound just scares me. Here's the old wire panel fence. But there's probably 20 feet on each side of the fence, both for us and the neighbors. And that's why you don't stand in front of that when it's still running. So, all right, I'm gonna keep going around this field. I'm not really trying to gain field ground per se, as I am just trying to push the trees back and prevent any new growth or for any new trees that are coming up. I've killed so many trees so far, but this mower will literally mulch down trees, like from the top down. So I mean, I've said that I've had a love-hate relationship with this thing, because I love what it can do, but I hate that it scares me, just because of I've seen what it can do. And just if that fidget spinner were to even just come off, I mean, I wouldn't want to know where it would end up, because I can only imagine how fast and how far it would fly. And knowing that those bolts were loose under there kind of has me scared and weary. So if you guys have one of these brush mowers or are thinking about getting one, just know that they're not a toy. They need to be respected, and to treat them with the utmost caution. Let's go destroy some stuff. We just fueled up, so never underestimate the value of blades that are sharp, because I went and looked at some of the stuff that I had mowed before we replaced the blades, and it made a huge difference. So we're gonna head down to Travis's place. I just got finished hauling corn for the day, and I want to take this down there, go around the field ground, and try to do as much as I can to widen out the field and kind of just push the brush back. His place is one that's especially bad. They really need some work. So we're gonna head down there now. Travis and Dad are hauling manure. Seems like they got most of that pile cleaned up down there in that cement foundation, which is really looks good. They got it all cleaned up. I'll try this at home, kids. Watch out for those speed spears. So when I was a kid, we used to come out here and hunt morel mushrooms, and one thing that they'd always tell me, being the youngest and always the loudest, was you got to be quiet, because if you walk too quietly, then the mushrooms are going to go back into the ground. Obviously not true, But if that were the case, those morel mushrooms better go back into the ground now. So this honestly just blows me away. I drew a path along the fence line up here, pretty much all the way across until I got to a ditch that I'm probably going to try to end up crossing, but it's a little sketchy and it's getting a little late in the day to call for help. So I'm just going to keep mowing this hillside here. Literally, I just like stopped for a second and I looked at everything that I've done, and it just blows me away. Whenever I hit like large trees like this one, I mean, I would think that a mower wouldn't be able to take that on, but being that the wood is so rotten since it's been sitting there for so long, the mower literally just blows right through it. Like, it's not even there. I mean, one like this is probably a little bit too much, which is fine. I'll just push it kind of into a pile and forget about it. But this opens up the pastures. There's so much ground and there's so much brush that we need to take out. I mean, especially this farm is really, really bad, but there's just so much area that's being wasted because it's not able for the cows to come out here and eat anything off of it. I mean, the cows don't want to crawl into that brush any more than we do. I mean, Travis doesn't really like it, but looking at me tearing down the brush along these fence lines, he always used to say, try to leave that and don't cut it away with the chainsaw, because that is kind of the fence, and it's true. So until we figure out what we're going to do up there, I mean, I've not been taking out any brush up by the fences that acts as the actual fence, but along this one, I literally just set it down, drove along it, and there's a football field where I just drove straight through. I've not seen clear since I was a kid. So as you could probably tell, I'm pretty freaking excited about this thing. I still have a love-hate relationship with this mower because to me it feels dangerous, especially without a windshield guard on there. But if I can do what I want to do with this thing, these farms are going to look so much different. Honestly, like, I've not been able to freely walk in this area for a long time. Probably the last time I walked through this area in particular was when I was a kid. Easily one of my best purchases I've ever made. That's pretty much a wrap for this video. I just finished going along the field edges straight back at Travis's place down at the British farm. I still have to go around the 40 yet, but pretty much there's just one long fence line that I got to cover, and that's mostly just over the hill here. So I'm actually kind of surprised that I got as much done along this fence as I did today, considering I've been doing this since about 4:30. So it took me about 4 hours to go around this entire field up front, which has got to be almost a mile, at least. I think it's more than a mile. But I went around the field edges out of my place just real quick. I did the Rockville, and this place I've gotten a lot done so far. Just need to do that yet, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the mower's performing so far. I'm gonna quit now because this isn't something that I want to be doing after dark. You definitely need to be able to see what you're doing. And doing this is something that I take with utmost caution compared to a lot of other things that we do. Mostly because I am worried about getting a speed spear through the windshield. I've been looking at forestry windshield guards for the front of this, and I haven't found one that would work for me. So if you guys could send a link to one my way, that'd be great. I did have one small casualty though. Looking at the JCB over here, we lost our antenna. Oh boy, shouldn't be that big of a deal. I think I can fix that fairly easy. But that's pretty much all the damage that I've seen. I mean, when I bought this, it had a slight dent on the front guard, but after using it for all this stuff today, and you know, I was pretty worried that something would get damaged up front, but there's no dents or dings. You hardly could tell that I even came out and did all this today, and with the exception of the radio antenna, but it is what it is. So I'm really happy with how the mower's performing. That blade's still spinning, so I got to be careful. Basically stalled out, but it goes for a couple minutes. So anyway, I'd highly recommend using the Teleskid for this task. This mower is an 84 inch and it's wider than the JCB, so what's really nice is that I can just pretty much set it down and drive forward if I'm going through just brush. If there's trees, it kind of complicates things, but this mower can cut up to 7 inches worth of material, and yeah, it's pretty much just set it and drive. There's plenty of spots here where I was just going back and forth, and I could clean this up a little bit better, but I wanted to get it done because I wanted to get all the fields ran around before we started planting. I would like to come out and do this again in future years, even in the fall maybe, after we get the crops out. Heck, here I could even come back down during the summer and, you know, do a little bit of fine trimming. But for now, it looks really good. And I'm over on that side, I easily cleared out like 40 feet worth of trees and brush, and it looks so good. So sun's going down, I better head back. Travis brought my car down, so I'm just gonna take this back into the buildings and park it for tonight. Stay tuned for more brush mowing videos as we head into the summer, because it's gonna be real interesting when I get this out into the pasture. I might still try to go down into the pasture down here. Travis said there's a spot that he wants me to clear out, and we have an apple tree grove in one of the pastures too that he wanted me to go through and clear out, so I might record that. We'll just have to wait and see. Depends on how much time I have and whatever else. I'm still hauling corn, so be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section telling me what you guys want me to make videos on, what you guys want to see, and I'll be sure to pick one lucky commenter down in the comment section to win a How Farms Work hat. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out all of our other videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all How Farms Work. And with that, I'll see you next time.